Hello everyone, this is Jimmy and welcome to episode 8 of FTB Interactions? Plural. Anyways, today we are going to upgrade our power generation. So right now we're generating power by producing steam in a number of steam boilers, and then those are feeding into a steam turbine, and that's producing up to 1 amp of LV power, so up to 32 EU a tick. That's great, but that runs one machine at a time. And we already have 12 laid out. So we're clearly going to have to do better. Here's my plan. There's a couple ways to make power. In the quest book here, there's one that walks you through, this quest slide here walks you through making a bunch of steam using the large boiler and lots of coke ovens. And ooh, this quest gives you a lot of speed upgrades. That makes me happy. Anyways, this is one way to do it. I think this is fine, but it uses a lot of infrastructure and it's not that much better than what we currently have going. And it doesn't scale very well because you can't really scale up your tree production, your log production very easily. Instead, I'm actually going to, it's closer to the solution here, but I'm going to base it on using mineral to produce methane. So here's the idea. A gas turbine generator can burn methane for power. In fact, I can probably see exactly how much energy we get per methane. Per 4 millibuckets of methane, we get 448 EU. So that means we don't have to, right now, per millibucket of, or per 64 millibuckets of steam, we get 32 EU, right? So methane's a much better effective fuel, just to be expected. That's almost, what is that, like 100 and 448 divided by 4. 112 EU per millibucket. Much better than the half that we're getting right now. Cool. To make methane, we can centrifuge, we can centrifuge mineral crystals. There's a couple other ways to get it, but I find this is the easiest, and it gives you some other useful byproducts. Sawdust, which I'm not sure if this is actually useful, but definitely carbon dust will be useful, and plant balls can be useful. And mineral resin is also useful. So we get a lot of useful byproducts from centrifuging this, as well as our 80 millibuckets of methane. Our mineral crystals then will come from, initially we can get it from extracting mineral wood, but in the long term I would like to get it from mineral enriched eggs, which drop from mineral chickens. So yeah, that's the plan. Let's get started on that. So to make it, we need a gas turbine, a centrifuge, and I guess that's technically all we need if I'm going to, and an extractor for the wood. Doesn't sound too bad. I wonder, can we make this? No. MB. Okay. Since I'll have to be making more steel, I want to thank those of you that pointed out to me that there's apparently a bellows slot underneath the furnace. So if I head down there, I should be able to, which block is it? This one? Jeez, building right here was not a great idea. I should have also marked which slot. Hey, look at that, a bellows slot. So by slipping a bellows there, we can, that'll give us our maximum yield of nuggets out of our furnace. I think the quest book has since been updated too to show that. Under wherever that quest was. At least I read it in the patch notes, so I trust it. Yeah, it says you can also place bellows on the bottom. Ha! Instead of converting our tree farm over to a mineral farm, I decided to just farm a bunch of mineral logs and convert them into mineral crystals, like by hand. So I have a bunch of logs left, well, a few logs left in here, a bunch of mineral crystals here. Because we're going to be using the chickens to produce these crystals in the long run, I see no reason to convert the tree farm over, because then we're just going to have to convert the tree farm to something else later. Alright, so anyways, our mineral crystals feed into here, which produces methane and mineral resin. I did some math and I came to the conclusion that one centrifuge can power 2 turbines. So we're going to need approximately 1:2 ratio of centrifuges to turbines. Now, where do I want to put the turbines? We're probably going to want to produce at least like 8 amps of LV, so we're going to need 8 turbines in the long run. So I want somewhere that has some space. Maybe I'll just extend it into this next chunk here. So our cable, the blue steel cable, can transmit up to, oh, this is a bad place to put this, isn't it? I'm going to move it over 1 block. But our blue steel cable can transmit up to 4 amps at a 1x cable. So if we see there, amperage 4, that means that if we're going to have more than if we're going to set up something that can produce more than 4 amps, we're going to have to upgrade our cabling. But for now, if I have 2 basic gas turbines, which are 1 amp each, and 1 basic steam turbine, which is also 1 amp, that's 3, and 3 is notably less than 4. This is going to sound really obvious, but I just found out that if you stand too close to the output port, you get blasted by hot steam and it hurts. I mean, it's like, you expect that, it's hot steam. I just didn't think about it until I got blasted by it. While building our system here, I wanted to make it as scalable as possible. Because as I mentioned earlier, we're going to, well, need to scale it. So, first of all, over here are input and output items. Input are the mineral crystals, which again, for now I just crafted by hand, but later we'll have a chicken. Probably we can lay a bunch of chicken coops over here to supply mineral. And then these are the outputs. The outputs should be voided so that if they ever fill up, and they will eventually, you know, we just void the excess. Once we have a certain amount, I don't really care if we're voiding more. All right, so mineral goes into here, gets processed, items get put here. Fluids go into these 2 drums. This first one holds mineral resin, and they're all filtered accordingly. So this first one holds mineral resin, the second one holds, well, would hold methane, except all the methane is being pumped into the turbines. And if the methane one fills up, I'm content letting the centrifuge back stuff and eventually stop. But if the mineral resin drum gets filled up, which it will pretty soon, I'll just void the rest in a trash can. So the trash can needs to have lower priority, and you definitely want to filter it for mineral resin. Because you're using priorities on ender fluid conduits, you need to make sure round robin is disabled as well. Because if round robin is enabled, priorities are not respected. Cool. So that produces our methane. Then that just gets transferred via regular fluid conduit this time because I only have a certain number of ender fluid conduits, and I won't be able to craft them for quite a while. So yeah, they're just being transported here to 2 gas turbines. Unfortunately, it doesn't round robin it perfectly, but that's fine. And each of these generates 1 amp of power, which gets put on our cable, which both powers the centrifuge and all the other machines. So right now we're producing 3 amps of power. Before I scale this up then, I think the next step is to automate our production of mineral. Because if I want to scale this up, I also have to replace all of our cables with at least 2x blue steel cables. Would you believe me if I said the previous step was the easy step in this process? So the mineral chicken here, it doesn't actually look too bad, right? It takes mineral resin. We have a drum that's almost full of it. Infinity dust, we've been making that since day 1. 10-10-10 smart chickens, we've been making those since like day 2. So it's just the mana powder. There's a couple ways to make mana powder. Pulverizing a beacon doesn't count. So we can either mix venetum, it's venetium, right? Venetium dust with niter and more mineral resin to get it. However, we can't get venetium dust yet. This is gated pretty late in the game, which just leaves Botania away. So we have to throw some type of phyto grow into a mana pool. So let's see about making our first little bit of mana. The basic mana pool, the diluted mana pool, is pretty easy to make. It's just a bunch of marble slabs. However, there are only a couple generating flowers that are available right off the bat. So here in this quest, I guess step 1 is to make the diluted mana pool, but the first forms of mana production, as it says here, are petropetunia. Petropetunia can burn any burnable fuels like creosote or diesel, or the dandalyfian, which is normally a very late game flower. It's one that does like the Game of Life, you know, like Conway's Game of Life thing, and it produces a tremendous amount of mana. So I'm thinking we'll do that, even though like right now I just need, you know, drops of mana. If we make the dandalyfian, it'll solve our mana problems for the foreseeable future. Alright, well, before we can get that, we have to do a few quests here. So, throwing sticks into mana gets me wisdom wood sticks. That seems fair. The diluted mana pool has to be crafted in the astral sorcery crafting table. It is daytime, you can see there, and I guess the pack update changed my minimap settings. I'll make it display the time of day again. But it's daytime, but this has enough mana to do it anyways, because it's just like the very basic crafting table. So, come on, give me my mana pools. Alright, it's going to be done eventually. There you go. 6 diluted mana pools. I just made 6 because I'm sure we'll use them. We can't upgrade them to full-size mana pools until we have living rock and the next tier crafting altar. We can craft medium covalence dust though, so. The next step then is to craft the dandalyfian. However, that takes magenta and yellow petals. I think these cellular blocks aren't bad. We can process firm tofu from soybeans. But I actually don't know how to get those petals. So each of these petals have to be made, your initial petals anyways, have to be made by a plant of that color and low covalence dust. So let's actually just look at magenta plants real quick. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of them. However, none of these, I don't know where they generate, because all the plants from the plants mod, right, they're used as the biome or as the ore vein markers. I've never seen a plant from the plants mod that's been not an ore vein marker. And looking through these, none of these appear to be magenta plants. So I don't know how I'm supposed to get my first magenta leaf. Once you get one, it's pretty easy, because once you get one leaf, you can plant it, bone meal it, or plant ball it, and keep that cycle going forever to get a bunch of leaves. So yeah, I don't know how to get the first one. None of them have crafting recipes either. Plant balls to the rescue once again. The tooltip says use on grass for plants. So I assume, yeah, this gives me random plants. Cool. Anyways, I just need to pull up that list of, what were the colors again? Magenta and yellow. And I'll go until I get some of those. And there we go. We have some magentas and, are these yellows? Some yellows. So we can make plenty of petals now. And as I was saying, once you have one petal, plant it, plant ball it a bunch of times, vein mine it, repeat. And you'll have plenty of that one color petal. And once again, back at our luminous crafting table, this time to make sprinklers. They're not like super cheap because they take motors for pumps, so I can't just replace all of my beehives with sprinklers. If you remember from the Rustic Waters pack, these sprinklers are extremely good. But yeah, I can make 5 of them, which is basically enough for each plot to have a sprinkler. So we'll have a fair amount of sprinkling going on, but it won't be ridiculous quite yet. Later, once I have effectively infinite resources, we can, turn our sprinkling into overdrive. Now our farms are all really cooking. If I want to harvest all of them, by the time I'm done harvesting the last one, the first one will have been fully grown. So we should look into automated solutions for doing this soon. I think the plant interactor is available at MV. And this, I think, is our first auto harvesting solution. I took a look for Cyclic's auto clicker, but it doesn't seem to be enabled. I forget what exactly it's called, but I looked through it and I couldn't see the block looks like that, right? Like the fire starter here, but I think it's disabled in this pack, because I recall that makes for an excellent plant harvester as well, because you can have it click very fast and target a large area. But I guess no go in this pack. That's alright, we'll wait for MV for the plant interactor then. Anyways, I needed to grow soybeans for firm tofu and beets for, beets to make cellular blocks. I think we also need these to actually to use the dandalyfian. The other component we need to make, whoopsies, the dandalyfian is a orange tulip. So once you have mana, and I suppose an alchemy catalyst, it's pretty easy to make any of the flowers. You can just go down this chain and turn any vanilla flower into any other vanilla flower. But we don't have that yet. So what I do have is this flower forest biome, which hopefully will have orange tulips in it. Unfortunately, I think most of this biome, yeah, it's like the very, oh, it's already plains. Oh, well, would you look at that? Orange tulip. Haha, how convenient. Gimme. Let me out of the boat. Let me out, boat. Don't kidnap me like this. Alright, I'm just going to grab some of every flower, I think, while I'm here. Or at least some of the various ones, because I have a feeling they're going to pop up again later. After running around the world collecting flowers, we can make our dandalyfian. I think it takes some mana as well. Thankfully, I have a bunch of drums of it sitting right here. Nice. Alright, so these extracellular blocks are what power it, so we're going to need them as well. This does take a fair amount of space. I guess we need a spreader first, don't we? Let's make a basic mana spreader. Oh, well then. I guess we're going to... Yeah, I guess we're going to need to upgrade our altar to a starlight crafting altar first. Alright, so that's going to take some thaumium and nothing else terribly special. The recipe for thaumium is steel or stainless steel. You get 4 extra yield with stainless steel, but we can't make that yet. With 5 Precantatio and Terra. Terra is very easy. 5 Terra comes from dirt. So it's just Precantatio. Historically, this has always been one of the aspects that is pretty difficult to find a pure source of. I've looked through the list a little bit. Oh, here. I guess here's our pure Precantatio source. I don't think that's happening anytime soon. But I have, from quest rewards so far, I've been given 35 Precantatio crystals, so I'll just use those. So for these, those, and this, gives me 7 thaumium. Let's refill that. Should be pretty clean, because that leaves no leftovers. I don't have the goggles on me, but we use exact amounts. Also, the quest here for thaumium rewards 8 more thaumium. So now we can see about making that starlight crafting altar. Here we are once again at our luminous crafting table. The liquid starlight says too cold to handle, and I guess all it does is give us these debuffs while handling it. I had my gloves, but they broke. So anyways, before I upgrade the altar, I want to craft this phosic resonator. This helps us find star fields. Once we upgrade the altar, we won't be able to use this crafting table until we build the multi-block around it. So, use it while it's here. It's of course not that difficult to put a new crafting table there. Anyways, while we hold this in our offhand, it'll put little blue puddles wherever there is a star field. But that only works during the day. So let's upgrade our starlight crafting altar. Now remember, this literally transforms this block here into the new block. However, there's a very interesting quest. Let's see, I think it's in the chickens quest. The star, nope, not that one. Alright, where's my starlight chicken? Star of chickens, here we go. This one rewards a floating crystal with perfect stats. So, the floating crystal is basically the same thing we see here. However, it can be used to craft what am I saying? It's basically this one, except we can place it wherever we like. So I don't have to come back here to do all of my crafting. Now this crystal I can't pick up. You see, it's there's the X there. If I try to mine it, I guess it won't even let me try to mine it. But the one that we get from the quest, we can place it down in one location and then just, it lives there forever. So what I want to do is I want to craft that chicken so that we can get a floating crystal and use it to power our starlight crafting altar somewhere closer to our base. Now there are trade-offs. We could use that floating crystal to boost a tree beacon to make it generate wood faster. However, now that I'm not actually using the tree beacon to power as our power source, I'm not that concerned about making it faster. So I'm gonna wait for nighttime. It's almost, another couple hours until nighttime, and hopefully we have a star field reasonably close to our base that we can build at. Alright, it's almost nighttime, the sun's setting. I would love it if there was a dead star field right here. What are the odds? Not terribly high, right? Like a 1 in 100 chance as a star field at all. Alright, here's a star field. It's not terribly close to our base, but I mean, it's close enough. So I'm going to mark it and look a little further to see if we can find better. Here's another one, but it looks weaker than the first one. It's about the same distance from our base, too. It's also closer to land, which means we're more likely to get ganked here. So I think the hunt continues. Also, here's that dungeon. Alright, the night's over, and I've decided that I'll just build our starlight crafting altar here at this first star field we found. The higher you place the altar, the more starlight you get, up to Y level 128, 127-ish. So right now we're only at 65, so I'm going to end up building a platform a bit in the sky. We're far enough from the base that we're going to end up taking teleporters to go back and forth anyways, so if we're teleporting back and forth, may as well take advantage of the extra light. If we were right, in the base, such that we didn't need teleporters, I probably would just build on ground level. The difference is not huge. It's in fact pretty small, but since there's basically no cost to doing so, I'm just going to build it in the sky. One downside at building at this level, which is Y130, is that we are exactly at cloud level. Are clouds purely cosmetic? Can they be turned off? Clouds off. Haha! We no longer are at cloud level. Problem solved. Alright, our starlight crafting altar is built with its multi-block around it. The exact blocks you need come from the book. So, whoopsies. Glad I didn't throw that somewhere I couldn't get it back. During the day, we only have, about half a bar. Well, that's way less than half a bar. About a quarter of a bar of starlight. There's various things we can do to increase this, but if that's enough, I'm just going to leave good enough alone for now. So, let's see if we can make the mana spreader on this. So, I need to go grab some materials first. And it looks like we do have enough mana, even though the moon is starting to rise. But it takes less than half a mana bar. I don't think these recipes actually tell you... Yeah, they don't tell you exactly how much, but we have enough. Anyways, once we have this mana spreader, I think that's all the astral sorcery we have to do for now to progress. Let's take a look at our quest line here. Yep, so that rewards... Alright, I'll take a potency lens. That just makes you shoot mana faster. So let's go set up our dandalyfian. This also takes up a fair amount of space. Alright, let's get to making our dandalyfian work for us. So as you can see, the flower has a tremendous range. It's 25 by 25 total, but I don't think we will need the entire range. The way it works is that it follows the rules of Conway's Game of Life. You can look that up if you're curious, but generally the idea is while the flower has a redstone signal, twice every second it'll advance the game one step. And the way it works is that if any cellular block has two or more neighbors, okay, so if it has two or more neighbors, then how exactly does it work? Any live cell with fewer than two or more, with fewer than two or more than three neighbors dies. Any live cell with exactly two or three neighbors. So if it has one or four neighbors, it dies. If it has two or three neighbors, it lives. It continues to live. And any dead cell with exactly three neighbors becomes a live cell. It produces some cool effects, but the idea is if we start with this pattern shown on the dirt, I expect what will happen is, well, let's keep reading. These all happen at the same time, and yada yada yada. All cells have an age starting at 0. When a cell lives on by having two or more neighbors, its age increases. Blah blah blah. The goal is to get the goal is to get cells with age 100. Any cells older than with age 100 to touch the flower. When that happens, all other cells on the board die. So this is a design I copied off the internet. I haven't tested it yet. But what it should happen is if we, I don't have a wand yet to look at it, but can I make a wand? Right now the flower has no mana in it. Yeah, let me go make a wand really quick just so that we can look at the actual stats of the flower. Apparently you're only allowed to make white wands in this pack. Can't make my usual maize and blue wand. Alas, white it is. So, the dandalyfian has a pretty large mana pool relative, like internal mana buffer, relative to most other generating flowers. So when we turn this on, uh-oh, that didn't work as expected. That was supposed to advance. Wait a second. This cell in the first cycle becomes active, which causes the plant to eat it, which causes it to... my layout is clearly not right. Hold on. Alright, here's the updated layout. This is also stolen from the internet because I don't have the time to write a simulator to try to figure it out. Talking about solving Conway's Game of Life is actually a very interesting topic. If you're a computer science nerd like me, I highly recommend you read into it a bit. Basically, if you can come up with an algorithm that can determine whether or not any given initial state will terminate, you will be a very, very rich person. Anyways, the initial state that we have here has blocks starting on these marked ones, and then these other blocks are just blockers. They just, can never be filled. So, I haven't tested it yet, but I think it should only use this front half of the range. So if we look at the actual range here, I didn't bother getting rid of like the torches and the stuff on the back half because I don't think it should spread over there. But if we turn it on, we can see that it starts advancing. And after 100 cycles, one block should touch one of the, parts touching this dandalyfian and cause everything to be consumed. So if we take our wand, we should see that this has currently 0 mana in it. And when it's done, it should be completely full of mana. We're probably getting pretty close to that 100 cycle count. It's what, 50 seconds, I guess, right? Because it does 2 updates a second. Alright, so I did something wrong because we've entered a steady state solution now that will never touch this. So this wasn't it. Maybe I should test before I record. Alright, well let's see if I can figure out what I did wrong. I'm pretty sure the problem was that this piece of cobblestone was supposed to be here. That tiny a difference can have, cascading differences down the line, which is part of the reason why one of the challenges of this system is that given any initial state, trying to determine the state after n cycles requires simulating all the cycles in between. There's no algorithm that can tell you that after 100 cycles it will look like this without simulating the in-between cycles. That is, unless you can come up with one. If you can, you will once again be a very rich person. Alright, so let's give this another shot, I guess. Good luck, flower. So we expect after 50 seconds or 100 rounds, one of the cellulose blocks will touch one of our red blocks here. Dun 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 dun. Dun 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 dun. It is nice and symmetrical, which is actually something I didn't expect because the initial layout is asymmetrical. This design came from it looks like we're almost here. This design came from a Reddit post where the user used apparently a genetic learning algorithm to figure out how to do this. The exact manner of how that works is well beyond me. Anyways, as you can see, our dandalyfian has sucked up all of that mana. It is almost full. So what we can then do is, I guess I don't need my viewing stand anymore because that did work. I can fill a mana pool. So let's put our... sure, we'll put our mana pool here. Now this is a dilute mana pool, so it doesn't hold very much mana at all. But we can put our mana spreader here. Because the dandalyfian has a significant internal buffer of its own, the flour will effectively serve as our mana pool. So bind that, and that fills the pool. And we can see that it slowly drains the flour in the process, but I'm pretty sure our flour holds more mana than our mana pool at this given point. If I want to start this up again, all I have to do, at least the manual way, is place blocks in these locations and toggle the redstone signal. Of course, there are this is a automatable process. All you have to do is come up with something that can place blocks there, say block placers where I have the cobblestone, and then some timing mechanism to turn the lever on or off as needed. But our mana pool is now full. Our dandalyfian still has half its internal buffer filled with mana, and we can make that mana powder, what's it called? Yeah, mana powder by throwing in, I guess, the best phyto grow we can make. Can I make rich? No, I cannot, because I can't make saltpeter. So I guess just regular phyto grow. Put our potency lens on the mana spreader to make it spread mana faster, and throw our phyto grow in there. Apparently it takes most of the mana pool for a single piece. I guess that's what happens when you have the dilute mana pool. Can I actually upgrade this to a normal mana pool? No, I need living rock. Alright, well, I need 2 mineral chickens before we can, you need 2 to start breeding them, right? So I need 4 total mana dust pieces. I think our 1 run of the flour, though, will still have enough mana to make, our 1 run has enough mana to make all 4 pieces. And seeing as how the mana is almost empty, I may as well start up the next cycle. Into our mixer goes mineral, is it mineral resin or is it liquid mineral? Okay, same thing. Mineral resin, mana powder, infinity dust, and smart chickens. And then this looks like it takes a while, doesn't it? 30 seconds. All right, so in 1 minute, we will have 2 mineral chickens. Voila, 2 chickens. So this should complete the quest, whatever that rewards. Some of these quests have very good rewards, so I do want to check them. I guess it doesn't give it, but this reward sucks. All right, let's take these chickens, and right now they are, basically unstatted. So we have to first breed them for stats before we can really use them to produce stuff. So, whoa, oh right, I have dark spots here. Oh, this sucks. I'm gonna die. Dang it. Alright, well now I have to get my stuff back and hopefully not die to him 7 times in the process. Please don't shoot me, please don't shoot me. Oh, am I invisible until I get my stuff? I don't know. Haha, revenge. Alright, well there's my death this episode. Now I have creepers in my base. Creepers in this pack turn invisible when they're near you. That's unpleasant. Thankfully, Claim Chunks still disables creeper explosions. Like, I'm not getting killed by them instantly. I'm going to put these chickens in here to start breeding, and then stand here to prevent spawns until the morning. To fix our lighting problem for good, I'm just going to use jack-o'-lanterns. I would use glowstone, but... Oh, do jack-o'-lanterns have to be planted on something? I guess they do. Alright, fine. I'll plant them on something, if you insist. There we go. And also, I'll put torches on top of these blocks where I'm allowed to. Basically, I can't put torches like here because that would block the actual growth of the cellulose. The process of breeding chickens here is a little slow. A lot slow. Is there a way you can tell how long it takes? Doesn't say. Well, it's a long time. So I think it's time we made our time in Avato. The recent update also changes so that they use this lapis pieces instead of lapis plates. So we actually could have crafted this as soon as I applied the update, which I probably should have done because now I'll craft a time in Avato with no time in it. But oh well, beats not having it, right? I just recently ran out of diamonds to use for this. However, we can turn diamond dust into diamonds now that we have LV power for the autoclave. Doing so with water takes 100 seconds, which is way too long. Doing it with liquid starlight is much better at a mere 5 seconds. So that's what I'm going to do. I have a tank of starlight here, or rather this one, I think. Fill that up. And then I need to do lapis as well. So I'll just put the lapis in there. It'll make lapis pieces. Put the diamond dust in there. It'll make diamond pieces. All right. Make the time in a bottle, and now I can start a curing time. That was a quest, apparently. I don't claim my quest rewards because a lot of these things, like, they just clutter my inventory. So I just leave them here. But then when I complete a quest without knowing it, I don't know. Random bean, that's what I get, huh? I don't think I need that. But yes, I don't claim the quest because I don't want it to clutter my inventory. But then I don't actually know where the new quest I completed was sometimes. Alas. The difference between having a max stack and a stack of 1 is pretty huge. These chickens pop one out every couple seconds. These need multiple minutes. So I'll accelerate what I can, but I don't exactly have a lot of time in my bottle yet. I guess I should figure out something else to do in the meantime so I'm not standing here watching chickens breed, huh? Talking about time, it appears we are out of time for today. So what I'll do is I'll breed these between episodes so that we're not staring at chickens. And we'll come back next time and continue down our progression. Our options, I guess, include starting work on the blast furnace now that we have enough power for it. Or I think there's a detour that's worth taking, and that's for the attunement altar from Astral Sorcery. Because I think we can make everything that goes into this. We can attune ourselves to a constellation and start gaining attunement perks, which will help us do things like not die to a single skeleton. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this episode, and I hope to see you in the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.